Imagine this. You walk into a congressional hearing. The lights are bright, the cameras are rolling, and suddenly, the air changes. Because someone isn't just asking questions, they're dropping receipts. That someone is Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, and the target is Secretary Kristi Noem. In less than 10 minutes, Crockett unveiled a map that traced $78 million in taxpayer money funneled through no-bid contracts, new shell companies, politically connected donors, and yep, Noem panicked. By the time this hearing ended, the balance of power shifted. Stay with me, because we're going deep. What happened, how it happened, why it matters, and how you play a role in holding the government accountable. But right now, if you believe taxpayer money deserves tough oversight, hit that like button, subscribe, and drop a comment. What's the first word that comes to mind when you hear corruption? Let's begin. On a morning that looked like any other, the committee hearing room of the House Judiciary or Oversight Committee felt different. Reporters filled the gallery. Staff whispered. Something was in motion. Across from the dais sat Secretary Kristi Noem, a former governor, now head of the Department of Homeland Security. She arrived calm, confident, prepared for the expected tough questions. She answered about detention conditions, border security, and budget numbers, the routine. But across from her, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett sat with a thick stock of documents, a quiet determination, the look of someone who had done her homework. Crockett opened her questioning not with heat, but with a simple factual question. Secretary, can you tell us about the contract awarded last month to Sentinel Border Solutions for technology infrastructure at detention facilities? And that question set off a chain reaction. Pause for a moment and think. What would you do if you had proof that someone in power was redirecting millions away from the public trust? Type truth in the comments if you believe every citizen deserves to know. Crockett peeled back layer after layer. She asked, the contract to Sentinel Border Solutions, $12.4 million, no bid, emergency basis. Who owns that company? What should have been a simple answer hit a wall. Noem's attorneys leaned in. Hesitation. Crockett showed the next sheet. Sentinel is a subsidiary of Fortress Management Group. Fortress is owned by a private equity consortium. One major investor is someone who donated to Noem's gubernatorial campaign and to President Trump's campaign. Suddenly, the room shifted. We weren't just talking contracts, we were talking funneling. Then, Crockett revealed the pattern. Over the last 5 months, DHS awarded $78 million in emergency or no-bid contracts to companies with direct financial ties to Noem's donor network. Reality check. Emergency no bid means bypassing competitive bidding. That's meant for tight timelines, critical urgency. But when a brand new company with no track record wins a multi-million-dollar contract, major red flags. And the next question hit. How can you claim you're protecting taxpayers when you're awarding their money to companies owned by your allies? And investigations into suspected corruption are being shut down. If you had one question for Secretary Noem right then, what would it be? Post it below. Let's see what others are asking. Here's the moment the walls truly closed in. Crockett held up the corruption map, a visual flowchart showing companies, money trails, and key players. Companies with no experience, companies created after Noem's nomination, contracts totaling tens of millions, investigations closed without explanation, law enforcement operations being cut while contractor payments skyrocketed. Imagine watching that live. The entire chamber goes silent. Reporters snap photos. Opponents shift uneasily. Then came the killer question. Have you or any members of your immediate family received any financial benefit directly or indirectly from companies that have received DHS contracts since you took office? She paused. Noem looked to her attorneys. Finally, I would need to review. That one answer told the story itself. In the next 48 hours, the story went viral. Investigators sharpened their focus. Noem's team scrambled. The stage was set for accountability. Hit like if you think that question, a single yes or no, was the moment everything changed. And if you do, share this video with someone you know who cares about government transparency. Why should you care? Because this isn't politics for politics' sake. It's about your money. It's about public trust. When departments meant to protect us funnel funds to connected companies, the work of law enforcement suffers. When investigations are closed prematurely and contracts are awarded without oversight, that's not efficiency, that's corruption. As Crockett put it, contracts aren't being awarded based on who can do the job best. They're being awarded based on who donated to the right campaigns or hired the right family members. And when the Inspector General can't get answers, when the system designed to check power becomes part of the problem, the scale of the issue becomes systemic. In the immediate aftermath, one of the companies named had its contract suspended. A senior official quietly resigned. The Senate Oversight Committee announced a formal investigation, but this is far from over. Oversight hearings, litigation, public pressure, the work is just beginning. And Crockett's role is, she didn't just accuse, she followed the money, she built the case, she forced the moment. That's a rare combination in Congress. If you're watching this, you're part of the system too. Your attention, your questions, your voice, they matter. So what's the takeaway? One person with documents, determination, and a microphone changed the narrative in that hearing room. It shows accountability works when you make it work. If we allow money to run unchecked, when we take the backseat, then we become complicit. But if we stay vigilant, stay informed, ask questions, and demand answers, we become a force of change. If this story mattered to you, subscribe for deep dives like this every week. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next explosion of truth. Now here's your challenge. Share this video with one friend and ask them which system needs to be exposed next. Drop their answer down in the comments and tag them, because awareness sparks action. And our job isn't done. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.